What's going on, everybody? This is another third episode of TectonicYanks. Sorry for the couple of weeks off, but here we are again, and wonderful March. March 1 here. Your typical host, Will, and my wonderful co-host, Anthony. What's going on, man?
Not much. Having a great day.
Oh, that's good, man. It's a nice day, nice weather out. Looking outside my window. It's a beautiful day. I wish we were playing some golf, but instead we'll be talking about soccer because guess what? March is going to be a big month for the U.S. men's national team, and there's nothing better to do and talk about it. So, I guess let's get right into it. So, we're going to talk about the U23, right? I know there's a lot of stuff for us to talk about. So, the U23 roster, right? That just came out. That's kind of today. That's finalized. Right, because I know there was one earlier that came out with I don't know, was it the same one?
Yeah, it was
one?
a bunch of people. Yeah, well, they have more players on it, but this was a shorter one for training camp, and then the roster for the team will be announced. But this is the main pool they'll be pulling from.
Okay, so this is the main pool, and let me pull it up as you have it also in front of you. So we're obviously just going to start, from the goalkeepers all the way down to the forwards. So just the first look at it, we looked through the whole list earlier today. It's big MLS pool. Right. Yeah. There's not the most exciting thing, for most fans. Out of all our U23 guys, we're probably expecting, hopefully we went outer, bigger, names, Bundesliga, Premier League name guys that we could have gone. But do you have any insight why we kind of went this route or, just or a guess or opinion why they went like this?
There's some guys that, are from Europe and stuff that are on the list, or Mexico and Brazil, but I think one of the big reasons, obviously, COVID. They don't want players traveling right now, and the teams would have to release them because it's not, there's not a break in the schedule for it. So the European teams would have to release those players. And I'm guessing they weren't willing to, or the U.S. team would rather just have them continue developing in Europe. It's one or the other.
Yeah, it's with most soccer stuff, at least for the MLS, at least for the Earthquakes point or the national team, there's not much news kind of comes out and opinions on these kind of things. So we kind of have to make our own guesses. I don't really see a lot of stuff that they're why they do what they do. So I'm gonna have to probably agree with you because I don't really know otherwise to change your opinion. But you also brought up something about how CONCACAF is affecting the play. You told me earlier today, but what's going on with that?
Well, the main thing is there's 3 Atlanta United players in the pool, and Atlanta United would have been one of the most successful teams in MLS since they started.
Yeah, they're a little off year this year, but yes, they have been very successful.
They have the CONCACAF Champions League, so the players that were included in the pool that play for them will not be playing because they have to quarantine with Atlanta United for their match coming up. So the coach said, the manager said it's unlikely they'll be picked to play in the qualifying.
Yeah, that just sucks. Unfortunately, with COVID, how it affects just affects everything. So, it's a big deal, but we still have great names to pick from, and we're gonna start off from the goalkeepers. So we won't read too much to where they're from and all that, but the first names of goalkeepers that we got here for the training camp, it was Matt Freese from Philadelphia Union. On top of my head, I don't really think this is. Yeah, I don't really know about a couple of them. Another big name we should know of is Jonathan Klinsman. As we know, his dad used to coach the men's national team. He played a couple of games for the Galaxy last season. Nothing crazy, nothing amazing, but I do probably expect him to be at least the top 3 goalkeepers we're taking out there.
Most likely.
And of course, for all us San Jose Earthquakes fans, JT Martinkowski. He's the Earthquake starting goalie. He had a great season. I think he's probably going to be the number 1 starting goalkeeper for the U23 team. What do you think?
You know more than me about the MLS, so I'm just going to trust your opinion.
That's true. I had more than MLS guy here. But the thing is, I just don't know about these other guys having more experience than him. Yeah. I just know even before Martinkowski even had the starting job, he has played for the national team before. So I feel like he's had the reps and he's done it before. And now with him being the starter for the Earthquakes, I feel like he'll be there. It's going to suck for the Earthquakes if it affects the regular season, which it probably will affect it. With how everything's kind of playing out. And last but not least is David Ochoa from Real Salt Lake. He's a California kid, from Oxnard. But I just don't know much about this.
No idea.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we could have done some more research and looked up these guys, but once I saw JT and the rest of the names, I kind of wasn't really thinking anyone's had a real shot. But hopefully, you never know how camp's going to play out, and obviously, with the games up ahead, we'll get into in a little bit. But let's start going into some of these defenders.
Yeah, let's just we don't have to name all of them.
Yeah, we
Let's
don't know
just
how to name
go
all of them, that's
over
for sure.
obviously George Bello and Miles Robinson, the two Atlanta United players, won't be with the team, which is unfortunate because Robinson is a guy who's a center back, and that's a position that's up for grabs with the with the big boy national team. So it could have been a good time for him to play. Justin Glad, I've heard some good things about him, and Sam Vines, who started in the last men's national team game in Orlando when they played at left back. I'll be excited to see how he does defensively because he didn't really have to do much in the last game, but he looked good going forward. So it'll be fun to see.
Yeah, I mean, with all these names, none of them really pop out. Obviously, we've heard of Sam Vines and Glad, but I mean, from the rest, I mean, we're not going to name them all for everybody, but if anyone checks out the U23 training camp roster by position, it really nothing really pops out, which is not good. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not good in a way because you're just like, all right, so who's going to be setting up
I'd
for
say
us?
the midfielders and the forwards definitely pop more than the defense.
Right, and which is kind of what's kind of been leading to with all our young guys, right? All the
Yeah,
guys that were even not here, it's not really the really young defenseman guys that would be popping out anyway,
yeah,
except like Dest. But other than that,
Richards.
yeah, Richards as well. But we'll just hop right into the midfield. Hopefully our offense is going to win us more games than our defense anyway.
Yeah.
So let's go right into what midfielders you like here on this list.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Amaya and Bassett. I haven't seen them play much, but I've heard good things about them. Uh, Johnny Cardoso, who plays in Brazil, he was a part of the European camp they did a couple months ago with Way and all them, and he got some playing time. He didn't look bad. Defensive midfielder Perea played in the last game, kind of came in the second half. He just signed a one-time switch over from Colombia, so he's with us for good now. He doesn't look like a bad player. Testman's pretty young. He's only like 19, so it'll be a good experience for him. And obviously your boy Jackson from the Earthquakes, who will most likely be starting in the number 6 role.
Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of names on this list that we haven't really heard of, at least in the midfielder wise. I mean, we saw so many younger guys, and now we're seeing just a bunch of new pool of younger
Yeah,
guys coming to play. And yeah, Jackson Ewell, I think, probably has one of the most better experiences compared to everyone, and he's probably might be wearing the captain's armband.
yeah,
And that's what Ewell's gonna have to bring to the team is just leadership and just proper execution. Kind of a Michael Bradley esque. Not with something who we really love, but hopefully the younger Michael Bradley, a leader and someone that's just not going to score a lot of goals, but he's just going to have to make the right passes and plays.
yeah, definitely.
All right, so we're just moving on kind of quickly through this list because, like, again, guys, like if we start reading all these names and where they're from, it'll take a while. And plus, there's not many that we know that well, but we do know some better on these forward lists. And I think one that we can just look right off this list real quick and that we have seen is Sebastian Soto, and who is also not part of the MLS pool, so which is a good sign.
Yeah.
So I mean, in your opinion, do you think he'll probably be our starting striker?
I think it's him or Ferreira because Ferreira's coming off that really good game that he had against Trinidad and Tobago when he had a couple goals and assists. So I think it'll most likely be between them two because they've both been Soto scored in both games that he's played with the national team recently. I think Yuli Lainez, who's included on the list, he plays in the Netherlands, but they let him get released. He'll probably start out on the wing somewhere. Jonathan Lewis is another good name. He's got a lot of pace and seems to create a lot when he's played for the national team. And Georgi Mihalovic, who's more of like a guy that would play in like the number 10 role behind a striker. He's pretty creative, but I know he struggled with Chicago Fire before he got moved to Montreal. So it'll be a good experience. Those are the guys that stand out the most because we've seen them play with the national team before. But, hopefully some other people surprise us.
Yeah, I mean,
So
of course. I mean, of
yeah,
course, we want some guys to surprise us. Like you said, we have seen some of these guys, and they've scored goals. And they put their name on the board for us. We're like, wait, who are these guys? And look, now they're back, and they're probably gonna be the ones, be the ones scoring the goals for us. Like you said, Ulysses and Soto. And all those other guys you named are going to be the most important factors for this national team. I mean, we've seen those are the biggest guys that are not even in the MLS. So I mean, that's probably a big reason why they're out here is because
yeah,
they can score.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, but it'll just be good to see just like these guys get more playing experience at a high level and see which guys can help in the future with the national team.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
the Olympics is a pretty big step because we went through a period where we two Olympics that we didn't qualify for, and I think we kind of saw what happened when we lost to Trinidad and not qualify for the World Cup, and we didn't have those two when guys didn't really come through from those two generations that missed those two age groups of players that didn't go to the World Cup. I think that hurt the national team a lot. So you're relying on a lot of older players at the end of that Bruce Arena run, and with a few young guys coming up like Pulisic and stuff. But I think it'll be a good step if they can qualify for it and show that like they have the depth now to have and rely on players.
yeah, I mean it's exciting times since we've seen a lot of the youth like shine for
Yeah,
us, and it's great. But I mean, also just think about how COVID is affecting
yeah,
this though. Like, right? I mean, at the end of the day, COVID is affecting what players we can bring into this pool.
yeah. Because I'm yeah, definitely because there's guys like Tim Weah and Chris Richards and Weston McKinney and Pulisic,
Rainier, right? I mean,
Reina,
like the
Josh
Musa,
Sargent,
like
Musa, Josh Sargent. There's a number of players they could have brought in, but I'm guessing due to COVID or the fact that the teams wouldn't release them, they didn't. So it definitely has an effect. But yeah, but it's still an interesting list. Still a
yeah.
good
I
list.
mean, of course, for like the first thing since we're mostly MLS team, there are two earthquakes, exciting times for earthquakes, and exciting for times for all MLS fans in general because 90% of this pool is that.
Yeah, it's
But
good for the future for sure.
yeah. I mean, it's good for that, but also, I mean, I know we're excited about the list and we're excited for these young guys, but man, I mean, what could have really been with having if we could have had all our young guys that we would want?
Oh, definitely.
I mean, I think we honestly, I think,
Cakewalk.
yeah, I think we could probably win the whole thing.
Yeah,
I really think with our young guys, if we brought in the proper young guys that we've been showing out already, I think there's no way why we couldn't win.
yeah,
It's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate.
100%.
But also more news that came out was this Jamaica Friendly, right? We got at the end of the year, or not the end of the year, end of this month. So what else do we got more about that Jamaica Friendly?
So they'll be playing. It looks like at the end of the month they'll be playing two friendlies in Europe. So European-based camp. The first one's going to be Thursday, March 25th against Jamaica, and the second one will be Sunday, March 28th against Northern Ireland in Ireland.
Okay, well, obviously that means we'll be seeing much more of a U.S. national team.
So
which
the
is
Weahs and the McKinney's, Adams, Pulisic,
I mean, probably
Sargent, Reina, yeah.
Stefan, and all those guys.
Good thing is when they posted about it on the U.S. Soccer Instagram, Musa liked the photo. So that's a good sign because he's still eligible to play for England.
Right. I mean, for everyone out there, remember we talked about that Musa is an important player that we're trying to keep, but it doesn't matter. He can still play on these friendlies. Doesn't mean he's going to be on the national team yet. But we are hoping we can keep him around, and hopefully once he plays a real meaningful game for the U.S., it will matter. Like so, if he played like a Gold Cup game, that means he's tied to us, right? So a game like that. So we're hoping for something that soon. But yeah, I mean, two exciting friendlies. We're trying to get the March to Gold here. March to Gold. Trying to make it happen here. But it's not. But it's a little different. It's not for the 23 Olympics, but still that gold of FIFA World Cup. So all these games matter. It's friendlies, guys that we need to see out there. And Jamaica, similar foe that we've seen.
We'll have to play them in qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, it's
World Cup qualifying.
It's a normal team we've dealt with before, but of course, it's always good to play
good games.
Yeah, but Northern Ireland, I mean, exciting. I haven't really seen or played Northern Ireland. I mean, there's nothing crazy. It's a game we should probably win. Northern Ireland doesn't really usually have bigger names, but still to go play Northern Ireland is much more exciting than, I don't know, probably playing Jamaica, right?
Yeah, definitely. It just gives them something different. Playing against a lot of guys who play in, leagues in England and in Scotland. So it'll be a more physical game, definitely, than playing Jamaica. But it'll definitely be interesting to see what kind of squad gets picked. Hopefully he goes with the same kind of group he did last time, and we can see them play together again so they can kind of get used to and gel together more.
Yeah, we're just hoping we see the best out of both teams, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at least the best they can do, right? I mean, I know it's hard for every team to pull all their best players, but to get the best squads out of each one to see, like, to really test us, because that's what I mean. Lately, we haven't really been tested. We've been kicking teams' butts, right? I mean, yeah, but Panama and Trinidad, and I mean, I know the last one we doing was just
Wales was 0-0.
Yeah, the Wales, we won't count that one, but. But still, I mean, that was, I guess it still wasn't, that was our first one. Camp was short. It was really hard to judge. But so, I mean, these ones, hopefully we want to see A squads as best they can so we can really test, especially against Jamaica, since we obviously play Jamaica more. So we really see what the Jamaicans have to offer for us when it affects the Gold Cup and all their qualifying matches.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, it's exciting times. I think we got what we really wanted to get done today for you guys on the podcast. So yes, please like us on Twitter at TectonicYanks.
Follow us. Instagram.
Yep, Instagram as well. Anthony has been doing a great job with that, and of course, thanks to our sponsor, the Beautiful Game Network, for us helping us out. And yeah, man, go USA!
Yeah, and shout out to Chris Richards' mom and dad for liking our tweets today. Right. Big shout outs to them.
Got to shout out the parents for even liking our tweets. Hopefully they can follow us, and hopefully we're trying to get some national team players on here. I mean, I know it's tough, especially for them. I know it's so easy for the Tectonic takes to get their guys on to talk to them, but hopefully we'll track a player down and we'll talk to them soon and bring you guys some more great content. All right, but we'll be talking to you guys soon. We got the games coming up, and we'll see what those final rosters bring to us, and we'll bring you a preview of that. All right, so talk to you then. Later.